Trials Unit at the University of York, this is the Research Room. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Research Room with me, Lucy Ather.
And me, Janine Healy. So today we have another episode in our mental health mini-series.
We do. We're joined by Professor Rowena Jacobs from the Centre for Health Economics and Lina Gega from Hull York Medical School. Thank you both for coming. Welcome to the Research Room.
Thanks for having us.
And you're going to tell us all about your project, which is called Support2Work.
Would you like to introduce yourselves to us, please? I'd love to, thank you. So I'm Rowena Jacobs. I'm a professor of health economics based at the Centre for Health Economics at the University of York. And I am the principal investigator for Support2Work. And my sort of key research interests are around economics of mental health.
Fantastic.
Good.
And I am Lina Gega. I'm professor of mental health at Hull York Medical School. I'm trained both as a nurse and a psychological therapist. My research is usually around young people's mental health, digital technologies, and clinical trials. But in this project, my role is to bring together the findings and then translate them into sort of lay messages and practice recommendations, working with service users and different stakeholders.
Ah,
Good.
fantastic. Very important role.
Yeah.
So could you tell us what the name of your project is, what the kind of full long name is?
I can give you the full long name. So it's Mental Health as a Determinant of Work, evaluating the impact of the National NHS Talking Therapies Employment Advisors Programme on mental health, work, inequalities, costs, and the economy.
Wow.
Very long one. Oh my goodness,
That is a long one.
That's the longest one we've ever had.
It might be, actually. I feel like we're used to long ones, but that was, I think you had to take a breath halfway through saying
You did well. It's written down, I presume.
Yeah, I'd be very impressed if you had memorised that.
But one of our service user representatives said, why don't you just call it Support2Work?
Yeah.
And that stuck.
Exactly.
So is that where it came from?
Yep.
Indeed.
Oh, that's nice. That's very good.
We just lead straight into the short name competition.
Yeah, so it's Support2Work. Oh, but now you've told me it came from a service user. Now I think I've got to give it an extra point.
Same here.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
We like people being involved.
We
in all
do.
these things, don't we?
Yeah.
And there's no way am I going to give low marks to somebody who's come up with a good name. The only thing is, why did they just come up with Support2Work? I think it might have to do with the fact that that is essentially the role that we're evaluating. So employment advisors are professionals who work within the NHS and they provide sort of support to individuals to help with employment, all sorts of practical support. So I suppose it's just literally what the name on the tin is.
Yeah.
Support2Work.
It's true. I like that about it.
Yeah,
it's nice when you read it and you know what it's about.
It is actually, and it does.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you tried to make an acronym out of all those words, it'd be impossible.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't mean anything to anybody.
That's right.
And so many of them force it, don't they, to try and fit in all the letters or pick letters from the middle
Yeah,
of the.
I know. Well, what are you going to give it out of 10?
Ooh, you've put the pressure on me now, haven't you? Well, I do you know, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. Yeah, I'm going to give it. Oh, I was thinking an 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there you go.
There you go. Good marks.
Thank you very
Well
much.
taken.
Already, yeah, indeed.
Thank you. So, in a nutshell, can you describe your project? You know what the project's about. So the project essentially is what it says in the title. So it's about employment advisors. So we have a national NHS Talking Therapies program, and the primary aim of that is to provide psychological help to individuals who may have mental health problems. And alongside those have been introduced employment advisors to help individuals who may be struggling with work-related problems who also have mental health problems. And we are essentially evaluating the role of these employment advisors from a number of different contexts. So thinking about whether they help people back into work, whether they help with people's mental health, whether they reduce costs, how they impact on the wider economy. So, looking at it from a very holistic perspective, whether there are impacts in terms of inequalities, whether they benefit some people more than others, and so on. So it's a sort of a holistic evaluation of the role of these employment advisors within NHS Talking Therapies.
So is this something that's already happening? So the employment advisors are already out there, and we're kind of seeing, has it worked?
That's right. Yes, that's right. So in 2008, NHS Talking Therapies were rolled out. And the initial impetus for them was obviously to help people with mental health difficulties, primarily sort of common mental disorders like anxiety and depression. But they also had behind them the incentive to essentially have an impact on the economy as well, to help people with work-related challenges. So that was sort of part of the rationale and the government's investment in talking therapies. And we know from recent evidence that they have indeed had an impact in terms of earnings and employment. So they are actually having a role. And then independent to that, into 2018, these employment advisors were introduced over and above the talking therapies. So they work adjacent to therapists.
Yeah.
And they help more specifically with work-related challenges that people may be facing, either those individuals who are out of work and want to get back into work, or individuals who are in work but on long-term sick leave, or individuals who are in work but perhaps need help with work adjustments, or struggling with the nature or the type of work or whatever might be impacting on their mental health. So they've been introduced in 2018, but there hasn't really been a thorough national comprehensive evaluation of their impact.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And that's what this is.
That's exactly what this
is.
is.
Essentially, they were trying to compare or to look at whether people who receive therapy and employment advice do better than people who receive just therapy alone.
Right, okay.
So we're comparing these two, isn't it? That's great. And sometimes it's useful to say what the project is not about. So we're not looking at any employment advice services outside the NHS Talking Therapies, because there are loads of services, job centres, but this is specifically in the context of NHS Talking Therapies. And also we're not interested in finding out, or the project is not designed to find out whether people have employment advice without therapy and then people have just therapy. So I think it's the combination of the two that we're interested in versus just therapy alone.
Okay. Is it the same person that gives them the therapy and the advice, or is it two separate sessions?
They are different sessions. So when somebody comes into talking therapies, they may be offered. So everyone is offered if it's sort of appropriate and required. About 15% of people who go into talking therapies take it up.
Okay.
And they then are signposted to a different individual. So they're not counsellors or therapists. The employment advisor really just helps that individual with work-specific challenges.
It's a different skill, isn't it? That
different role.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's helpful. It's a really good question, because it sort of helps us tell you a bit more about, what really people say, what is psychological therapy? And it is a conversation, a structured conversation, and sort of activities that you do not only within the therapy session, but also outside, things that help you change the way you think and you respond to day-to-day things. So really changing unhelpful thinking and behaviors into more helpful ones.
Yeah.
But then the employment advisors are very specific sort of task that they do. They help with job searches, and they help with CVs, and they help the person with goals, and they speak with employers, they liaise with employers to do sort of reasonable adjustments within the workplace. So you're right. It is a completely different skill set and background and different sort of focus.
Yeah.
So it's the two together that you're looking at in the NHS.
Exactly.
Yeah. So could you tell us a bit about why you're doing the project and where the need for this came from?
So absolutely, it's a crucial question. So from the government's perspective, we have since about 2019 seen a huge increase in the number of individuals in the economy who are what's called economically inactive due to sickness. So these are individuals who are out of the labour market and not looking for work because they are unwell. So this has gone up from around 2.1 million people in around 2019 to nearly 2.9 million people. So 800,000 people increase. It's a huge increase.
Yeah.
It's not just a COVID blip. This is something fairly sustained. We haven't seen an increase like this since the 1990s.
Really? Wow.
Oh, wow.
So obviously government and Treasury are very concerned about it.
Yeah.
And if you also compare to other countries, we're going in the wrong direction. So no other countries in Europe or across the sort of OECD countries are seeing this kind of growth in economic inactivity due to sickness. So it's become a real challenge. So the government had a big review by Sir Charlie Mayfield, who did the Keep Britain Working review. And that really sort of demonstrated this stark challenge that faces the economy. And in addition to this large growth in the economically inactive, there's also been a very large growth in individuals who have work-limiting health conditions. So that number has also grown enormously to over 8 million people.
Wow.
So these are individuals who may be in work or they may be out of work, but they essentially have a health-limiting condition, which means it impacts on the nature or the amount of work that they can do. And the big driver of both the economically inactive and the work-limiting health conditions is mental health problems.
Right.
Oh. It's over half of that is driven by mental health problems. Yeah. So
wow, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I wouldn't have thought.
I wouldn't have thought over half. I would have thought, some of it, but not that much. Wow.
So the sort of the older generations tend to be impacted by musculoskeletal conditions, whereas among the younger age population in particular, it's individuals with mental health challenges. So this impacts the economy, and clearly the government and Treasury are hugely challenged by this. And in addition to the Mayfield review, the government has introduced a number of different approaches to try and address this challenge. So these are happening within the NHS, but also through local government. So there are a huge number of initiatives focusing on musculoskeletal and mental health problems to try and help individuals around work. And so the employment advisors within Talking Therapies is one of the really big initiatives, and it hasn't really had a thorough evaluation before. And so that's kind of the big why behind why we're particularly interested in this.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Is there any this is probably a bit off piece, but is there any reason why this country is different to the rest of Europe?
I don't know. I don't think we know why necessarily. There's a lot of research going on around why mental health conditions among young people are increasing, and there's a lot of emerging evidence around that. But I think the troubling thing is that while in many other countries the trends are going down, the sort of expectation is that it's going to increase further. The Mayfield review was showing that it's probably going to increase by another 600,000 individuals up to 2030. So, that has a huge economic impact. So the economic cost to the government is over £200 billion a year. So if you to put that into context, that's much bigger than the spend on the entire NHS.
Yeah.
It's a huge economic cost. So it's a really big challenge.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there is also the tension, isn't it, that although policy and the government and economics focus on productivity and getting people back to work, I mean, from a therapist perspective, sometimes stepping away from work, changing jobs, it's better for people's mental health or health altogether. So it is about finding this right balance between helping people to get jobs, but jobs that are sort of, they speak to their skills and interests, and they can sort of sustain, irrespective of problems in their health or other circumstances, work can become a place where they can find, reward and
because I suppose it is the problem, isn't it? That people want to get back to work, but they haven't got any help in what jobs they'd be better doing.
Yeah, no, wow, it does sound like a massive problem, and maybe a problem that's getting worse as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just surprises me that we're on a trajectory that's going to increase, but everywhere else is decreasing.
Yeah, like it's quite a UK specific problem.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think this is sort of one of those flagship initiatives that we really need to understand. Is it working?
Yeah.
Is it what it doing what it says on the tin? Is it helping individuals or not? Or does it need to be adapted? Does it need to be? Do we need to remove it and replace it with something else? We really need to understand: is this good value for money in terms of the taxpayers' money? And is it helping individuals? And if it is helping individuals, who is it helping?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we definitely need this research.
We do.
Definitely. Could you tell us how the project works? I think it's a mixed methods evaluation. Is that right? It's not a randomized control trial that we're used to in the research room, but it's something a bit different.
Yeah, there are, as you said, we use a mixture of different approaches. So the first one is analyzing large data sets. So hundreds of thousands of people who use NHS Talking Therapies. And as I said before, we compare those who had therapy alone against those who had a combination of therapy and employment advice. So that's the large data set part. And then we also talk to people, service users and professionals and policymakers to understand what is actually happening in real life and how this support affects things like being off sick or returning back to work. So a big part of the project, and I think the economist in our company can speak more about this. I am just, a mere mortal trying to understand economics, but from my understanding,
same here.
It is also the good value for money, and what this means is not only finding out how much the employment advice costs, but also whether it can save us costs down the line, especially from specialist mental health services and secondary care. So if it can stop people from going into hospitals and to specialist mental health services, that balances out the cost of the employment advice service itself. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So you've obviously got those kind of two perspectives, really. The kind of cost, which obviously Centre for Health Economics is kind of more involved in, and then the kind of more clinical side of things.
Health sciences and social sciences, because we should mention here our colleagues from the School for Business and Society who are leading the qualitative aspect of the project. So they're doing the interviews with service users, employment advisors, therapists. And combining these two things really is what makes this project quite special.
It's
multidisciplinary.
Disciplinary, that's it. I knew I'd get it.
It's amazing how you answer the same question that we would answer with a clinical trial. Do employment advisors plus therapy works better than therapy alone? So it is a question that you would have. However, very cleverly, the health economists get all these, thousands and thousands of data. They're able to answer this question without running a trial and with existing data. I think that's mega.
It is, isn't it? It's an innovative way of doing research, isn't it?
I think the one advantage is with the clinical trials, sometimes it's on a very particular patient population and you can't really generalize it very well. But here, because you're looking at the whole population, essentially, you've got your answers.
And you must have data from thousands, I guess.
Hundreds of thousands.
You must get
the power of data. I mean, it's the way forward, isn't it? Really,
that's right. So there's over 1 million people who go and see talking therapies every year. So we're looking at several years.
Wow.
So it literally is millions.
And I mean, you could never get millions of people in a trial, could you?
No, exactly.
And existing data, so making best use of all the data that is collected. So that truly is, I think, a very strong point of this project.
It is,
definitely. Oh, we still like trials, but you're swaying me. I like this as well.
We like variety. I do like trials.
Yes, there's room for both.
They are what are they called? The gold standard, but there are other methods.
Yeah, well, this might be,
I think,
a rival to the gold standard.
Could be, actually. Yeah.
So you're looking at, so then you've got the numbers in the database, and then the qual is more the interviews. So what kind of things are you looking at? And is it the same things that you look at in both the kind of database and the interviews?
So they're kind of 5 streams to the work. So the first stream is a quantitative stream. And here we're using fantastically big linked data. So we can link all of the Talking Therapies data to employment records and to benefits data at a national level. So it's really very detailed and huge numbers. So that's going to help us answer the question as to whether employment advisors have an impact on earnings, on employment, on benefits, and so on. So the sort of those big labor market questions, if you like. Then the second one is the qualitative work stream, where we're essentially looking at all the contextual factors to try and understand what is the role of employment advisors, how do they work, why do people go and see them, how do they engage with them, how do they help them if they do or don't, just giving us the sort of nuances around the how and the why and so on, the sort of contextual depth. And then the third element is another quantitative one. That's going to try and understand the sort of, as Lina was saying, the sort of downstream consequences. So if employment advisors do help improve people's work functioning or their mental health, does that have sort of knock-on consequences in terms of them perhaps needing less healthcare use down the line? So they may be better able to manage their mental health and their physical health, their chronic conditions. So actually maybe they don't need as much healthcare. And then the fourth one is another quantitative one. And that kind of brings a lot of the quantitative evidence together to look at the sort of value for money. And we're doing that from two perspectives. One is from the sort of NHS perspective, and then a much broader one from the whole economy perspective. So when you think about consumption expenditure, production, government expenditure, tax receipts, all the sort of, how do these help with the really big picture, the sort of macro questions. And then the very, very important strand which Lina leads is to bring all of this evidence together. And she's got some really novel ways in which we're going to try and bring that to life. So those are essentially the 5 elements of the work.
I just wanted to ask, because I've heard health economists talk about perspectives before, and I'm always a bit confused about what you mean when you say from an NHS perspective. Is that like, is it cost effective to the NHS versus is it cost effective to the government? Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's right. So you could take an NHS perspective, which is thinking about, within the NHS, what is the we love to use the terminology opportunity cost, which means, if I was to invest in employment advisors, what do I have to give up elsewhere in the healthcare system in order to invest in employment advisors? So it's taking an NHS perspective, essentially. Whereas you could take a much wider societal perspective where you say, well, okay, I'm also going to think about what is the role of employment advisors on housing, criminal justice, sort of, and that might not be relevant in this particular example, but, just the sort of wider societal impacts. So those are the sort of 2 ones which economists typically think about.
No, that makes sense. It's almost, I guess, thinking, if I was an NHS manager, would this be, it was kind of looking at it from that point of view versus if I was, I don't know, a government minister.
Oh, illusions of grandeur here.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know it's good to explain that. Yeah, because you don't really understand properly when you're not involved.
Well, I don't always, but I do now. So thank you.
I do. Yeah.
So in the qualitative interviews, what kind of questions do you ask people?
So I think the qualitative is really going to add those sort of contextual features that might kind of support or inhibit the role of an employment advisor. So we're going to ask essentially around the reasons why people may take up employment advice, the factors contributing to their mental health challenges and difficulties, how long it had lasted, and the sort of nature of that interaction, any kind of sort of barriers or facilitators around their entry and exit from work. So sort of understanding sort of individual factors, work factors, and sort of wider labor market factors, and just really trying to understand the role of employment advisors in sort of shaping those trajectories in and out of work. And then just linking back to that element around how it might have impacted in terms of the healthcare service use, and also then the role of employers in all of this, thinking about have that helped or hindered, and what sort of role they've played. So those are sorts of questions we'll be asking of service users, but then we're also going to be speaking to service leads, employment advisors themselves, and also therapists. So we're really going to get a very broad range of views on how this works.
Speak to lots of different people and get lots of different perspectives.
And it is to understand perhaps the why, because we may find that employment advisors work really well if combined with talking therapies. We may find that they don't make a difference, or may find that they make a difference for some people but not others. So the interviews are really digging deeper down to why perhaps employment advisors may work or not work for certain people in certain situations.
No, I think it's really good to get the qualitative work, and then you really understand the why, don't you?
Yeah, it's important to have that part of breadth, haven't you? Quite a lot of work there, which leads into what Lina's pulling it all together, and you're doing the synthesis and dissemination.
Yeah, and there is, it talks about perspectives really, and picking up on this. It is, and again, a special feature of this project is its interdisciplinarity. We have economics and health sciences, clinical sort of sciences, social sciences, and lived experience. And this is a real strength. And it always reminds me of the analogy of, different flies landing on an elephant in different parts of the elephant. So if you land in the nostril, you describe the elephant as wet and smooth, but if you land on its back, it's dry and wrinkly.
I love that analogy.
I guess we are all different flies, and
on an elephant,
and you get a better picture of the elephant if you get all the flies together, telling you their perspectives.
That's a great.
So
I'm going to use that for the rest of my life.
Very good. So getting a picture of the whole elephant, through interdisciplinarity. So that's one great thing, and the other thing is that we're trying to translate the findings to case vignettes or case scenarios.
Case vignettes.
Vignettes. And this is actually a method that is used by sort of policy and strategy organizations like the World Economic Forum, where you're trying to present in short stories what will happen with different pathways of care. So in our case, it will be what will happen if someone has just therapy, or someone has therapy and employment advice. And then you will have different groups of individuals. So you're able to bring to life not just sort of the average of what happens with statistics, but what will happen to a person that represents a group of people if they took one path versus another.
Because we're all different, aren't we?
Yeah. And from different perspectives again, because, the individual may find that actually being out of work, that really helped them. But then from the perspective of the NHS or the government, may find that this was not a good outcome, and they might need to put something else in place to be able to achieve their goals. So case vignettes will be what we will produce in the end with input from service users and other stakeholders.
So I think what's really novel about these sorts of case vignettes is it makes it very practical to help all different people from different backgrounds to have a conversation around this. So, if you're just presenting really big numbers, it's quite difficult sometimes to translate that into something which is meaningful. So these sort of give an example. So say you have you create a vignette which is, say you have a primary school teacher who has severe depression and is struggling at work. The school is not able to make adjustments because that individual, they just can't. There's safeguarding issues or whatever it may be. So you create that scenario, and they go and see an employment advisor. The employment advisor suggests that they do X, Y, Z. So you create a vignette which people can then wrap their head around. It's really
story,
practical. There's a story to it.
Yeah.
It's a human thing, isn't it? So much easier. And I think perhaps having the little stories that gives you examples is really a good way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the back of that, you can sort of really make practical suggestions. So in individuals where they are in work but struggling, for example, then these are the sorts of ways in which employment advisors can help. If you had a different scenario where you had a police officer who'd experienced something very traumatic and they were off work for a long time on sick leave, what are the practical things we could do for that individual? So you can sort of start thinking about these very real scenarios and what the sort of challenges are, and we can use our evidence from our big data to inform those scenarios. So you're sort of representing a set of individuals through something very practical.
Yeah. I suppose it's a good way to explain your results, but it's also really helpful for you to think how you can implement them.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing to note is that we have a service experts advisory panel and a policy experts advisory panel who are really instrumental in helping us with bringing these vignettes to life and thinking through what they mean in terms of concrete recommendations that can come out of those.
It's actually very, very few economics-focused projects, if any, are doing this and doing it so comprehensively well. So I think this project is a real exemplar of how service users, lay perspectives could be incorporated in quite complex academic work.
Oh, that's great. Because it's really important to have that sort of PPI, patient public involvement, but different perspectives again. But it's good that they really help you shape the research as it's going.
It is really important to have the people involved, isn't it?
And the policy experts.
Yeah, and then there's another element to the service experts advisory panel, which is the EAs themselves, the employment advisors. So we have a couple of them whom we can go to and just say, how does this work? Why is that? What do you think of this? And just get their input to things as well, because they're at the core of what this is all about. So it's wonderful to have them, a group of them as well.
A big shout out to all the people that have helped you.
Oh gosh, yes.
And I mean, perhaps also another point to say is that we sort of. What was the expression? Blowing our own trumpet and saying how great the project is. But it is, I mean, the interdisciplinarity itself is quite challenging because a lot of things may look are lost in translation. And I remember, recently we had a conversation in the team about what language to use to describe mental health, which is very simple, isn't it? From a clinician's point of view, I'm comfortable with the word illness, mental illness and mental health problems. That's what we use. But then perhaps social scientists prefer a broader term like issues or mental ill health. So we had a conversation getting the balance right. How can we use non-stigmatizing language that's acceptable to most people, but at the same time calling a spade and making sure that we represent people's experiences and we're not diluting them. So that's sort of an interesting thing that the language that different disciplines use. And,
it's a really good example of that.
And trying to understand each other.
And then how does this get into policy and everything?
Oh, very good question. So it's really then building almost like pathways to impact and speaking to the right people. So the case vignette will help us create narratives and stories for different audiences. But then it's a whole different ballgame how we reach those audiences. I mean, within the Centre for Health Economics, there are policy centres, isn't it, Rowena, where you have these established networks and pathways to feed information messages, right?
Yeah, so we do have a policy experts advisory panel with individuals, for example, from the Department of Workers and Pensions and the Joint Work and Health Directorate with the Department of Health and Social Care, who are essentially responsible for the Employment Advisors Program. So we really are feeding directly into policy, which is very exciting. And we've got, people at the very top of Talking Therapies and clinical advisors and experts in the field who can really help us get the message through to the right sort of people.
That's great. Yeah, you've already got those links in place.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Because it takes a while, doesn't it, for all these research to get into policy. But if you've already got connections and it's been identified in a report, then does it happen quicker? Or will it happen quicker? Or
we hope so, but there's always a challenge in terms of not just getting the right evidence, but making sure that the message is right as well. So that, and Lina's wonderful with that in terms of translating all the economic speak into something which,
and how does that?
Which is difficult to do.
Oh my
is,
goodness!
yes,
Yes. Since I started on this project, I put a few grooves on my cerebral cortex just by listening to all these brilliant health economists. Yes, it's so brilliant, and it is. I mean, it is a two-pronged approach where you have the top-down approach where you're trying to influence policymakers and make change, but also the bottom-up, because I mean, from my sort of work with the NHS is to supervise and train therapists and generally staff within NHS Talking Therapies. So it might be that as part of our project, we produce recommendations of how training of employment advisors or therapists may improve.
Yeah.
So there are many ways of many pathways to impact.
Yeah. Oh, you like that term, don't you, Janine?
I love
pathways to impact.
I love pathways to impact. Yeah. Yeah. I got this theory that a podcast could be a pathway to impact.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Good bit. So, where are you in the project now? How's it going so far?
We're just on our 1-year anniversary, actually.
Oh, happy anniversary.
So it's a 3-year project and we're 1 year in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still relatively early days, but we've made really good progress already. We're really excited about what we've done already. So, we've got cracking with the data and the linkages, and we've got into services already in terms of getting ethics approval and starting to talk to people and crunching numbers.
Number crunching.
Doing all that sort of stuff. So it's exciting. Yeah, I think we're not quite at the point of results, but we're sort of at the threshold, I feel.
Oh, really? So when will it finish then? Quite fairly soon.
In 2 years' time. So it's
a 3 year. I'm sorry, I've a tendency to do that.
No worries.
Yeah.
But will you start getting results before those 3 years, or do we wait till the 3 years is over?
Well, no, I would hope perhaps we could come back in 12 or 18
please.
months' time.
Oh, yes, please.
We'd love that.
Definitely. We'd love to have you back when you got some results. So now we've got our random research questions that we're going to pull out of our hat.
Yes, here we are.
Want to go first?
I'll go first. I hope it's a nice one for you. After telling you they're all nice. Oh, what advice would you give someone starting a similar project?
Well, one thing which we ironically didn't actually cost up putting this project together was a kickoff meeting for the whole team. And we did it anyway. And it's one of the best things we did. I think just getting everybody together in a room for a day or two, face to face, meet each other properly, talk through everything. It just built a kind of team spirit. And I think, we've got a stellar team together. But just having a kickoff meeting.
That's
it's just a simple thing, but
it was a great idea.
It was so good.
We've got so used to Zoom, haven't we?
Exactly.
And mixed meetings, some people there, some not there, and endless Zoom meetings. Yeah, that's a really great idea.
Yeah, that's a good one. What's one thing you wish you had more time to spend on? And that can be in your research or just in your life.
It can be in your life.
Oh, I would say, right, okay. Yeah. I mean, cooking. I've got 1,500 cookery books.
Oh, really?
Indeed. I know, it's an illness. Don't ask me. And I wish, I live with this fantasy that I'm doing, I don't know, chutneys and jams and roast chickens. So that's in a different life. Or,
you just buy a book, don't you? And look at the pictures and think, I'm going to do that next week. I do the same.
So there you go.
Oh, that's a good
Got loads of cookery books and I don't cook.
Oh, well, you two need to get together and have a big cooking weekend.
A library.
What a good idea. Yeah. Just need a kitchen at the university is the one.
Yeah, we'll
a cookery part somewhere.
A cooking department, maybe.
Student accommodation.
Oh, yeah. I know we could offer to cook for the students. No.
There you
go. Gosh, I would probably want to spend more time walking, just listening to podcasts. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, good.
You listen to yourself.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's a nice one.
What's your favourite part of your research?
Oh gosh.
For me, it's really, especially this particular project that is so interdisciplinary, is really learning from colleagues and thinking through things that I took for granted perhaps or never questioned. And then listening to all the things that either different perspectives, again a bit cliche the perspectives, but you know what I mean, that not only you accumulate knowledge about different things than your own, but also you think about the things you know in a different way.
Yeah.
Gosh, this sounds cliche too, but I actually really enjoy all parts of it.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy writing the grant.
Really?
I do.
I don't think anyone's ever said that before.
Really? That is very strange.
Really, I do.
Like economist, I suppose, perhaps.
I like thinking about how would I solve that? How would I answer that question? How would I solve this challenge or problem? I like, the research itself, starting to get results is exciting. And then, talking to policy people and stakeholders and so on is really interesting, getting their perspectives on things. So it's actually all elements of it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're in the right job anyway for you.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, well, we're all quite nerdy in research. What is the nerdiest thing that you do?
Oh my gosh, all the sort of data stuff I think we do, checking all the robustness of our models and the sensitivity analyses and checking that all the assumptions that we make hold, and there's lots of nerdy things we do, but they're quite fun.
I was going to say, do you like that?
You would love them. Everybody who's nerdy is fun. The little nerdy things they do, isn't it?
Yeah, nerdy things that we do. I guess, it will be digging down to the why, I guess, from a therapist perspective or, health scientist, is not only just observing things, but then understanding why is this happened and what drives people's behaviors and why. So I think that's the thing. And you could get all tangled up into theories or, so I think that's probably.
The why.
Fantastic.
It's the most important question, though.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, what was your dream job as a kid before you knew researcher was an option?
Oh, I've got one. So I wanted to be a world famous orchestra conductor.
Oh, wow. That's so specific.
Yeah.
Well, are you quite musical then?
I am quite musical. Yeah. I play the cello and the piano and I sing.
Oh, wow.
But my father,
carry on.
My father had a record of this famous composer called Herbert von Karajan, and he had the whole score and everything, and so you could follow the music and then listen to him, through a rehearsal and everything. And I would have this old record player, and I'd literally stand in my bedroom and conduct to the.
Oh wow!
Conduct to the wall.
That's great. You could still do it. You could be a conductor.
Yeah. Your spare time.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a translator, so travel into different countries and be involved with sort of, films and translating or translating books. So I have a bit of a knack with languages, but also it's the nuances of languages and the way people put intonation to different parts and whether they use their hands or not and different. So that was always, I thought, I could have walked down, I don't know, in Brussels and translate or in a film set and that was.
You wanted to be on a film set, but never mind.
Cooking Belgian food.
Yes.
What a cook, isn't it?
There's a bit of a food theme here.
Yeah, translating recipes. Being international. Do you speak lots of languages then?
4.
Wow. I'm always so impressed when people
What 4 languages?
Well, my native language, which is Greek. My adopted language is sort of my husband, Bulgarian, and English and French.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Very impressive.
I can speak English.
Me too. I know.
Dreadful.
I'd love to learn it. Yorkshire,
yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming in today and chatting to us all about your project. Really interesting project.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, thank you. And you've explained it all really well. nice to have something that isn't a trial. I'm maybe being swayed towards non-trial research now.
I hope so.
And we'd love to have you back when you have some results.
Hopefully, yes.
I'd
please
love
come
to
back.
do that. Thank you.
With pleasure.
It's been lovely to be here.
Don't forget to like and follow The Research Room wherever you get your podcasts. And if you'd like to leave us a review, that really helps other people find the podcast.
Does it?
It does, yeah.